Once upon a time, at the edge of a deep dark forest, there stood a tiny wooden cottage. In that cottage lived a poor woodcutter, his two children, Hansel and Gretel, and their cold-hearted stepmother. The woodcutter worked hard every single day, but there was never quite enough food for everyone. One cold night, when the children were tucked up in bed, the stepmother spoke to their father.
"There is not enough food in this house. Tomorrow, we will take the children deep into the forest and leave them there."
Never. I cannot do that. They are my children.
"If you don't, we shall all starve. It is decided."
But Hansel was not asleep. He had heard every single word. So, when the house was dark and quiet, he tiptoed outside, where hundreds of little white pebbles were sparkling in the moonlight like tiny stars. He filled his pockets right up to the top.
Don't be afraid, Gretel. These little stones will show us the way back home. I promise.
At dawn the next morning, the stepmother shook them awake.
"Get up, children. We are all going to the forest to chop wood. Here is a piece of bread, now hurry along."
And as they walked deeper and deeper into the forest, Hansel walked last of all, quietly dropping his little white pebbles behind him, one by one. Deep in the heart of the forest, the stepmother lit a small fire.
"You two wait here by the fire. We will come back for you when the work is done."
But of course, they did not come back. The sun went down, the shadows grew long, and little Gretel began to cry.
"Hansel, I'm scared. Why aren't they coming back?"
Don't cry, little sister. Look! The moon is rising.
And there, winding away between the dark trees, Hansel's little pebbles began to sparkle in the moonlight, one after another, like a path of tiny stars. The children followed them, hand in hand, all the way through the night. By morning, they were home. Their father threw his arms around them and wept with joy.
Hansel. Gretel. Thank goodness you are safe. I am so sorry. I will never leave you again.
But the stepmother only smiled with her mouth, and not with her eyes. A few days later, the father went to town to fix his broken axe. And that very evening, the stepmother locked every door and every window, so Hansel could not collect his pebbles.
"Tomorrow we are going for a lovely picnic in the forest, children. Wouldn't that be nice?"
Hansel did not trust her one little bit. So he hid his piece of bread inside his pocket. The next morning, as they walked into the forest, Hansel broke his bread into tiny crumbs and dropped them behind him, one by one.
The breadcrumbs will show us the way home, Gretel. Just like the pebbles did.
Once again, the stepmother left them deep, deep in the forest. And once again, night fell, dark and cold.
"Shall we follow the breadcrumbs home, Hansel?"
We must wait for the morning light, Gretel. Sleep now. I will keep watch.
But when the sun rose, the breadcrumbs were gone, every single one. The little birds of the forest had flown down in the night and eaten them all up.
"Oh no! The birds have eaten our trail. How will we ever find our way home now?"
Hansel and Gretel walked, and walked, and walked. They were hungry, and tired, and terribly lost. When suddenly, between the trees, they saw something absolutely amazing. It was a little house. But not just any house. The walls were made of gingerbread, the roof was made of chocolate, and it was covered all over with gumdrops, lollipops, and swirly white icing.
"Hansel, look! A house made of sweets."
The roof is chocolate. It's the yummiest thing I have ever tasted.
But as the hungry children nibbled at the house, creak, the door swung open, and out came a very old woman, smiling a very wide smile.
Well, 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 you poor, hungry little darlings. Come inside, come inside. I have warm milk and soft beds, and all the cake you can eat.
The old woman fed them a wonderful supper. But when the children asked to go home, she began to laugh. And oh, it was not a kind laugh at all.
Home? Oh no, my dears. You are staying right here, because I am going to eat you up.
The old woman was a wicked witch, and her sweet little house was a trap for hungry children. The witch locked poor Hansel inside a big cage, and put Gretel straight to work.
You, boy, will eat and eat until you are nice and plump. And you, girl, will cook and scrub and sweep. Now get to work.
Every morning, the witch hobbled to the cage to check on Hansel.
Stick out your finger, boy. Let me feel how plump you are getting.
But the witch's old eyes were very weak. So clever Hansel held out an old chicken bone instead.
Bah! Still skin and bones. More food for you.
This went on for days and days, until one morning, the witch stamped her foot and screeched.
I can wait no longer. Gretel, fill the big pot with water. Today I shall have Hansel soup for my breakfast.
Poor Gretel's heart went thump, thump, thump. But as she filled the great big pot, she thought of a very clever plan. When the water began to bubble, Gretel called the witch, and made her voice sound very small.
Oh dear, oh dear. I cannot tell if the water is boiling. The pot is far too high, and I am far too little.
Useless child. Out of my way. I shall look myself.
The witch climbed up beside the great big pot, and leaned over the bubbling water, closer and closer. And then brave little Gretel ran up and pushed her, with all her might. Splash! There was a whoosh of green smoke, a very loud pop. And the wicked witch was gone. Gone forever and ever. Gretel raced to the cage and set her brother free, and they hugged and danced around the kitchen.
We did it, Hansel. The witch is gone.
And look, Gretel. A whole pot of gold coins. Father will never be poor again.
They filled their pockets with the shiny gold. Then Hansel and Gretel walked hand in hand through the forest, past the tall dark trees, over the little streams, until at last, through the leaves, they saw the roof of their very own cottage.
Home. Hansel, we're home.
Their father came running out with tears of joy in his eyes.
My children. My dear, dear children. You came back to me. The stepmother is gone. I sent her far away, and she will never, ever trouble us again.
And when the children showed him the gold coins, he could hardly believe his eyes. From that day on, the little family never went hungry again. And every night, after a big warm supper, they would sit by the fire, safe and happy, all together. So you see, little one, even in the darkest forest, if you are brave and clever, and you hold your loved ones by the hand, you will always find your way home. Good night, and sweet, sweet dreams.